Welcome to Velocity City, where you get to know about all the exciting news and updates about our beloved sport, Formula 1. Today, we will discuss what has happened to Ferrari and the problems Charles Leclerc is facing at Ferrari. We will discuss in detail about everything, but before we get started, be sure to subscribe and press the bell icon to get regular updates from Velocity City. Let's get started. As expected, Max Verstappen won the Hungarian GP. He expressed his happiness in the post-match, saying, "What a race, I think we stayed calm and we won it." Now let's talk about Ferrari. Ferrari has historically been a top team in Formula 1, but Mercedes and Red Bull have completely upstaged them in recent years. This is due to several endemic issues that continue to hold the team back. At the Hungarian Grand Prix, we saw these problems on display. Ferrari brought a reprofiled front wing specifically for the track, but it made no difference to their relative standing versus the other teams. They also had pit stop problems that cost Leclerc 10 seconds, which would have earned him 2 extra places. In addition, there were technical problems with their radios and water for the drivers, and they also appeared to have strategy problems. The team needs to address these issues to be competitive again. I can't forget the tweet someone put out after last year's Hungarian GP. It said, "Ferrari is an absolute joke. Carlos and Charles need to join together and make their own team. Absolute garbage strategy as usual. Our fans could do a better job." Despite many problems, Ferrari's result in the Hungarian Grand Prix was not as bad as it looked. Charles Leclerc only dropped 1 place from his qualifying position thanks to a time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Carlos Sainz also made up 3 places, making up for a relatively poor qualifying from the Spaniard. Leclerc said that the race looked worse than it was because of the problems they faced during the race, including technical problems with their radios, water for the drivers, and poor strategy. However, Ferrari could have done much worse compared to their starting positions. They finished 7th and 8th, which is not a bad result considering the problems they faced. The pit stop was quite slow and we had a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane, so it's again a weekend that is difficult. Honestly, it's frustrating overall because I felt that with the pace we had today, even as a driver, when you're feeling like you are doing a good job with the car you have, nobody really notices it. And whenever you're doing a bad job, everybody notices it. So it is difficult, but at the end it's part of the game, Charles stated. Charles Leclerc would have finished 5th if not for a pit stop mistake and a penalty for speeding in the pit lane. However, these mistakes cannot be ignored. When you drive for Ferrari, there is nowhere to hide because everyone expects so much from you. The team needs to take a step forward, as McLaren did with their car. Now we're on the back foot and it has been confirmed since the last 3 weekends, so there's a lot of work to do again. "Honestly, today I feel like the result is so much worse than what it felt like," he said. "The first stint felt really good, then with the slow stop it put us on the back foot being behind Lance. I had to push a lot, then we were with Carlos and we lost a bit of time there," said Charles Leclerc. Ferrari's strategy problems have been well documented, and despite a change in management, they persist. "We also have a lot of problems with the radio," Leclerc explained. "1 out of 4 words is not understood by an engineer because there's just problems with our radio for 3 or 4 races, so we need to fix that." This is evident in the team's radio communication problems, which have been ongoing for 3 or 4 races. The drivers in the pit wall cannot understand each other, which is a major issue. This is especially concerning given that the radio communication is clear on the race broadcast. It is mind-boggling that Ferrari has not been able to resolve this issue after so long. One fan tweeted, "My Sundays are getting ruined on a weekly basis now. Cheers." Charles Leclerc attempted to communicate with his team during the second stint of the Hungarian Grand Prix, requesting that he be offset in terms of strategy. However, his message was lost in transmission due to radio problems. Leclerc was coming up behind his teammate, Carlos Sainz, and wanted to pass him. However, Ferrari had them on different strategies, with Sainz on soft tyres and Leclerc on mediums. Leclerc wanted to switch to soft tyres, but the team did not receive his message. This meant that Leclerc had to continue on mediums while Sainz switched to soft tyres. This gave Sainz a significant advantage, eventually finishing ahead of Leclerc. Xavier Padros, Leclerc's race engineer, responded to Leclerc by saying, "We are discussing it at the end." This understandably annoyed Leclerc, who replied, "What do you mean at the end?" Before Xavi responded, "We are on it." Charles Leclerc's angry tone during the Hungarian Grand Prix was understandable. Ferrari's radio problems prevented him from communicating his strategy to the team, and they also seemed to be scared of upsetting either of the drivers. This isn't the first race that Ferrari has failed to swap the drivers quickly or has just point-blank refused to. Team principal Fred Vasseur was asked what went wrong for Ferrari after the race. He was quick to say that they were going to resolve the problems. First, we need time to understand what we did right and wrong because the format was different and it's not easy to analyse the perfect weekend and you need to get all the results to be able to do a reliable engineering on this, explained Vasseur. But I think on our side it's much more the fact that we made too many mistakes from the beginning to the end. And it's not about the pit stop or the pit entry or the quali yesterday or the management of the tyres. At the end, the potential was probably better than what we showed yesterday. And then, at least with Charles, we lost 20 seconds on the race. I'm very open with you to say that we are doing too many mistakes. And I think it's true that if you ask the same question to Toto, he will say the same. Ferrari's problems are well known, and Mercedes does not have them. Toto Wolff is probably happy with how the Grand Prix went for his team. Ferrari is 4th in the Constructors' Championship, 17 points behind Aston Martin, ahead of the Belgian Grand Prix. Leclerc and Sainz ran closely for most of the race, but Sainz dropped off towards the end and was easily overtaken by Russell. It's clear that right now we're not where we want to be in terms of race pace, in terms of everything really. Tyre deg, pace, even one lap this weekend hasn't been our strength either, Sainz told Sky Sports F1. So clearly some homework to do to understand why at a track where we expected maybe to be a bit stronger than we were not. And I'm sure we'll try to make a step in at Spa to understand. If not, we'll take the summer break to analyse everything and put together a better package for the other half. It is what it is. I don't care about Charles of the 7th or 8th. I just care about Russell being 1.5 seconds quicker at the end of his stint. It has been obvious now that things need to change at Ferrari. Fred Vasseur deserves longer to see if he can fix the issues that have plagued the team for seasons. However, Ferrari is undergoing a restructuring process, which includes replacing top staff members. Loic Serra, Mercedes performance director, will join the Italian team in 2025 when his contract at Mercedes expires. Serra will add his name to the ever-growing list of Mercedes staff that have abandoned the team in recent years. With a speciality in suspension and vehicle dynamics, Loic Serra began his Formula 1 career as a tyre engineer at Michelin. After Michelin withdrew from Formula 1 in 2006, he joined BMW Sauber as head of vehicle performance. In 2010, he moved to Mercedes as chief engineer of vehicle engineering and then rose through the ranks to become head of vehicle dynamics in 2013 and performance director in 2018. Ferrari hopes he can bring the knowledge and skills that made Mercedes successful in the 2010s to their team. There you have it. What do you think is the future of Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz? Will Ferrari be able to solve their problems before next season? What are your thoughts? Tell us in the comment section below.